The Vlachs and Morlachs were mountain people of the Balkans, living far from cities, empires, and castles. They were shepherds, hunters, scouts, and fighters who survived where organized armies struggled to move. These warriors lived in the rugged mountains of southeastern Europe, especially in regions that today include Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, and Romania. Their homeland was shaped by steep terrain, dense forests, cold winters, and narrow mountain passes. Because of this harsh environment, survival itself became their training. Vlachs and Morlachs did not train in formal schools or academies. They learned through daily life, starting at a young age. Children grew up herding animals across dangerous terrain, climbing mountains, crossing rivers, and navigating forests in all weather. This built endurance, balance, awareness, and mental toughness long before they ever carried weapons. Hand-to-hand combat training came from constant exposure to danger and conflict. When weapons were lost or broken, fighters relied on fists, elbows, headbutts, and wrestling to survive. Close-range combat was brutal, fast, and unforgiving. Knife fighting was especially common, as blades were always carried for work and protection. They trained to fight in narrow paths, forests, snow, and darkness, where space was limited and mistakes were deadly. Weapons were simple but highly effective. Long knives, axes, spears, bows, and later firearms were used both as tools and weapons. Because these weapons were carried and used every day, skill developed naturally through constant repetition. Their greatest strength, however, was survival training. They learned how to hunt, trap animals, find water, and move silently through the wilderness. They mastered ambush tactics, night movement, and hit-and-run attacks that avoided direct confrontation. Open battles were dangerous and unnecessary. Instead, they targeted supply lines, isolated patrols, messengers, and enemy scouts. This made them difficult to track and nearly impossible to defeat in their own terrain. Empires often hired Vlachs and Morlachs as guides, border fighters, and irregular troops. They were valued for their deep knowledge of the land and their ability to operate independently. At the same time, those same empires feared them as rebels, raiders, and potential insurgents. They fought Ottoman forces, rival clans, and invading armies across the mountains for generations. They rarely sought conquest or glory. Victory meant survival, freedom of movement, and protecting their people and homeland. The Vlachs and Morlachs represent one of the earliest forms of organized guerrilla warfare in Europe. Their methods influenced later resistance movements and modern irregular warfare doctrine. They were not soldiers of empires. They were not knights or mercenaries by choice. They were warriors shaped by mountains, hardship, and survival. They were the mountain ghosts of the Balkans,